Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be going over the 2021 LCS format because Riot recently posted this video today, I think it was like a couple hours ago, where they actually talk about the LCS format for the entire season. Everything from the LCS lock-in tournament to the new playoff formats, to the new spring split, new summer split, all that stuff. They cover everything in this nice and short 2-minute video. So we're going to be reacting to it, checking out all the new changes. I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions, and hopefully we'll be getting your guys' thoughts and opinions as well. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button real quick. It's fast, it's free, it's easy, helps you guys tip in on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it a ton. I think we just hit 5,700 subscribers, which is awesome. We're getting super close to 6,000, which would be a crazy number to hit. Also, if you guys enjoy my content, if you enjoy what we do here, hitting that like button really quick helps me out a ton as well. The more likes we get, the more the YouTube algorithm kind of likes what we got going on. It's going to show my videos to more people. That'll be great for us. Also, I know my shirt is kind of having some green screen issues. My shirt is yellow and white, so I'm not sure why it's picking up in the green screen, but you might be able to like see through me. I don't know, it's weird, I'm sorry. But with that being said, here we go, getting right into this, because there are some interesting things. There are some of the LCS format changes that I really love, some awesome stuff to talk about. So here we go, let's see what they got to say.
This week we go into the 9th season of the LCS, and with it a new look, new faces, and a new format which we hope tackles some of the feedback you've had for the LCS seasons in general. And
just talking about kind of the new LCS logo again, talking about the new look that they're doing. I think that's a great idea. I know I talked about this before, but yes, there are a ton of new faces in the LCS this year. Part of that is a ton of the old faces are gone. Obviously, Bjergsen, Doublelift, Xmithy, a lot of these guys are out, and a lot of the new guys are in. Again, new look, new logo, new motto. I still don't love the logo, but maybe it'll grow on us. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. I'm not usually someone that's just opposed to change, but I don't think it's necessarily better. Maybe it is better. The old LCS logo wasn't great either, but I just don't really love this one, but I get it. A new look, new feel, new faces. So yeah, it might be a way different LCS than a lot of people are used to seeing, because yeah, a lot of the old players you're used to are going to be gone. A lot of new players that maybe you aren't as familiar with or just aren't used to at all or don't even know who they are going to be coming in. But again, it's a new era, a new generation for the LCS, and this is a big time. This season is so hyped up, and Riot really needs it to go well, because if it does go well, viewership could explode. They could make a ton of money. It could really help boost the longevity of not only the LCS, but just LOL esports in general, and just being successful like in the United States. But if this is kind of a disaster, or the broadcast is bad, because the broadcast was not great at the end of last year. I know some people have talked about this already. Kind of the post-COVID broadcast for the LCS was not good. So they need to make some big improvements this year, and if they do that, I think they're going to be able to capitalize on a big spike in viewership and stuff this year. But if there's more eyeballs on a good product, that's great. If there's more eyeballs on a bad product, that's not so good. So this is going to be an important year for them, so I hope they do a good job.
in general, instead of waiting 9 weeks to see how teams adapt in a series, the LCS season will be preceded by LCS Lock-In, a 3-week tournament where teams will play with new rosters.
So a couple things I want to talk about here. First of all, he says, you don't want to have to wait 9 weeks to see how teams will play in series and adapt to all that stuff. But another thing is, usually you don't even get to see the bottom teams at all ever play in like best of fives or anything, because for a while only top 6 teams made the playoffs. Now top 8. I don't remember exactly what the formats are, but I know sometimes there's 6 teams that makes playoffs, sometimes there's 8. But in this, we'll actually get to see potentially more teams playing in like best of 3s, more teams playing in best of 5s, which would be good, because sometimes you don't get to see teams play a series until 9 weeks into the season or whatever, but sometimes you don't get to see teams play series at all. So this will give more teams an opportunity to play more best of 3s, more best of 5s, even some of the lower ranked teams in the league, and that is exciting. Another thing here is this is obviously self-contained. This doesn't affect the regular season. It's just a quick tournament. Does not affect standings. Does not affect who makes it to MSI. Does not affect who makes it to Worlds. But there is $150,000 on the line, and it is winner take all. So everyone's going to be trying their very best, because again, these are all businesses at the end of the day, and a lot of these teams don't make money. So 150K is actually a pretty solid amount of money to any one of these teams. So there is actually, every incentive to go really hard for this. But you can experiment with these rosters because obviously, again, nothing is actually counting. Nothing actually matters from the lock-in tournament. But this will be the first taste of competitive League of Legends we get in the LCS. So, fans are going to overreact. Twitter's going to overreact. Reddit's going to overreact. Potentially even coaching staffs and teams and stuff will overreact. I mean, you hope not, but people are going to get a ton of love from this. People are going to get a ton of hate and flame from this. it's going to be the first taste we get of a lot of these new faces, a lot of these new players. And some people, this will be their first impression of some guys. And some assumptions and generalizations and judgments are going to be made. So you want to put your best foot forward for the locking tournament, in my opinion. But if you do some experimentation, that's great. You know, teams do that in Kespa Cup, Demacia Cup, stuff like that all the time. Try out some new players, try out some new rosters, try out some crazy comps. You know, but get something out of it. Don't just do stupid stuff. Do experimental things in a good way, you know, that you're learning something from, not just experimental weird.
Teams will play with new rosters without fear of affecting their standings in the regular season. Teams will compete for a $150,000 winner-takes-all prize pool. And
I don't think I talk about this in the video, but you can see Group A and B here. They're headed by TSM and FlyQuest. That's because they're the two teams that played in the summer championship. It seems like they're going to take turns drafting teams into their own pools. That's how the two groups are going to get decided. That draft is going to be super interesting, super fun. I can't wait to cover that because those decisions are going to be spicy. You know, you have to decide what team you're most scared of, which will tell us a lot about TSM and FlyQuest, but also which teams you're least afraid of, which that's big flame, and that's going to make for some great content. That's going to be hilarious to see, and also hilarious if you pick a team that you're not afraid of and then they end up beating you. Going to be super funny. That'll be fun to talk about for sure.
And the winning team will make a $50,000 donation
and
to the charity.
Get some money for charity. That's awesome.
After the 3-week tournament, we start the spring split, which in the words of a current LCS champ had some flaws. So we're taking the standings from spring and combining them with summer to create one LCS season that concludes in the LCS championship, which will crown our...
I just wanted to go back so we don't miss any of that stuff. I think this is a great change. Obviously, people have been saying for so long that spring split doesn't matter. You know, it's a double if meme or whatever. One thing here is 5 games a day, 3 days a week, 6 weeks of play. So that'll be pretty cool. 5 games a day, 3 days a week, more games, less weeks, kind of a lot of action. I love watching more games. It does make it a little bit more difficult when there's more games on more days. I think they're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday will be tough for me to watch too much, especially live because I have like work and stuff like that. So I don't know. I might miss some of that. Hopefully not too much because I really do enjoy watching all these games live. But yeah, it's more like condensed schedule, which it has its pros and cons, good and bad. I don't really love or hate that either way. And then obviously spring split mattering is great because last year and for a while now it's been just completely irrelevant, so stupid. It's only decided MSI, hasn't mattered at all. And now obviously it does factor into one big long season, so I think that is a great change. Big fan of that.
Will crown our summer champions.
Then we have double round robin, records carry over,
and seed the North American teams attending Worlds.
And then summer, same stuff, 5 games. 5 games a day, 3 days a week, but 9 weeks because obviously they're going to play an extra round robin in the summer. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out too, with the double round robin and spring split, triple round robin in the summer. Summer will still have more weight, but spring split will also have more weight than it did last year since it had literally 0. And I'm sure this will be something that year after year Riot kind of looks back, evaluates, sees what works, see what didn't. They'll continue to make changes, but I think this one big long season is a huge improvement over what happened last year, but still the spring playoffs is going to exist. It's still going to crown a championship. Summer playoffs still going to exist, so it shouldn't mess with like records or anything like that. I think this should be good. I'm excited, but again, sounding good on paper and actually being good in practice, 2 different things, but we'll see how it goes.
Now spring split will still have a final of its own, but it's now called the MidSeason Showdown, which still nets the champion an LCS title and a spot at the MidSeason Invitational.
I don't know how I feel about that. MidSeason Showdown, kind of a weird name to me. I don't love it. I don't know why it can't just be the spring playoffs still, but you know, whatever. MidSeason Showdown, equivalent of the spring playoffs now, still gives you a title. You still get a trophy. You still get a banner, but it just doesn't give you any championship points or anything like that.
Last update comes from fans who wanted more out of our...
And it looks like in the spring, 6 teams are going to make the playoffs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be double elimination. That's great. They have a couple more things to talk about.
We added some minor improvements that we hope make for a more interesting tournament run. The TLDR, the bracket is now inverted, so that teams that rematch see each other later in the tournament.
And then in summer, we actually have 8 teams. So in spring, it is still going to be 6 teams. In the summer, it's going to be 8 teams. Again, they talked about the inverted bracket, which just means flopping over. So I know last year we saw a lot of kind of like instant rematches, and you don't want that. You want, if rematches are unavoidable, but you want, if it's a rematch, you want it to happen later on in the bracket. So that's going to happen. And then also a problem they ran into last year was they were always doing the better seed get side selection, even though TSM made it into the loser bracket first. Golden Guardians came second. TSM was a higher seed, they still got side selection, but now it's going to be whichever team did better in the winner's bracket or the upper bracket is going to get side selection when they get down to the loser's bracket. That is common sense. People knew that was common sense last year, but Riot already had it written in the rules, so they couldn't change it retroactively, but they made that change. That is two big changes. The inverted bracket and the side selection thing, two pretty small things that might seem insignificant or might seem pretty meaningless and won't even always come up, but two great changes. I'm happy they did that.
Regarding lower bracket games, side selection will go to the team that performed better in the upper bracket game. And game days have been shifted to avoid teams playing 2 matches in 1 week.
It's a good change too.
We're hoping this update gets you excited about the entire season.
But that is pretty much everything, guys. That is all of the new LCS 2021 changes. I mean, some of it's changes, some of it's just format updates, some of it is just kind of a reminder of some of the old stuff. Everything you need to know to get ready for the LCS season in 2021. Again, locking tournament starts in 8 days, so we're getting closer and closer. So this is a good time to kind of refresh yourself up. Some of this was old news, some of this was new news, some of the stuff I heard before, some of the stuff I had no idea about. But it always is good to kind of keep it up fresh to date in your mind, because again, stuff's changing all the time. Seems like week to week, month to month, season to season, split to split, year to year, whatever. It's always getting crazy, but I think they are taking some steps in the right direction. I'm super hyped up again. This is one of the most hyped up LCS splits and years in quite some time, possibly even the most hyped up ever. So I hope it does go well, because if it does, it could be an absolute smash hit for North American League of Legends. And if it flops, it could have some lasting effects, and we could lose some fans, for a couple of years. But I hope it goes well. I think it will. I think they made a ton of good changes. I don't love the logo, but everything else is pretty good for me. But again, that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Again, it helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the format changes? Is there any change you love, any change you hate? What would you change? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything that we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.